Hello and welcome to my shop. It's the first kind of real official shop tour I've done, and I figured I'd show you around the space. Take a hold of you. Okay, so for power tools, we have the Rockler hot air edge bander, the Makita 7.5 inch slider. We have a Grizzly 1020 drum sander and a Porter Cable 12 inch planer. Have a old Craftsman drill press and an old Walker Turner bandsaw. Craig Foreman, this is the old metal style. They don't make them like this anymore. And I'm starting to build a kind of a sanding station here with kind of my Festool MIDI as the base and everything attached to the T-stack there so I can quickly detach it. Got a Wen drill press here in the corner that I use for hinge cups. It's kind of just roams around from spot to spot. Got a Laguna, a B-Flux dust collector, and a Cobalt Quiet Series air compressor. Above here I have my 12 inch miter saw for crown and another router table. Okay, so let's discuss the table saw in the room here. I have a SawStop 36 inch T-Glide contractor saw. Store my Incra 5000 and other jigs down below. I want to rebuild that area eventually. And recently built a new router table wing kind of thing. I didn't want to go for the cast iron version because it sticks out further over here, and because my shop being kind of tight, decided to just opt to build one real quick. I did just buy some Formica for the top, and also going to Formica the kind of assembly table area. But down below is a Bosch router with its own lift, and we have the dust port for the dust collection down below. And so let's look at some of these drawers. So slowly getting organized. Not all that unorganized of a person, but slowly getting all the stuff laid out. I've been collecting tools for probably going on almost 30 years now. So this collection was not built overnight. It's kind of some of my dust collector parts. Two bottom drawers have kind of just been clutter right now. And my wrenches. Over here in the drill press stand, I set up the top two drawers for all my drill hardware. I got my drill bits and then my drill bobs in here. This is all my additional hardware for drills and drill presses. Even keep a drill hanging on the side, so if I have to drill something real quick, I can. All my nail gun nails and some hinges and stuff like that seem to be in there for right now, right above my nail guns. Down below, I kind of keep anything related to my table saw for the time being. In this one, we have all my layout tools on the top. Since this is in proximity to my workspace, it just makes sense to have everything laid out on top. Next drawer down is all my router jigs and stuff, which is helpful also because the router table's here. Now this drawer is all my connecting devices. So dominoes, Miller dowels, just plain dowels and stuff, glue sticks, lamello biscuits, regular biscuits, Collins coping clamps, tabletop clips. Just a little bit of everything kind of in this one drawer. It makes it helpful that it's right here next to my assembly table area. Next drawer down is all my router bits, which I just have an assortment of all brands. And then the bottom is kind of all my Festool related products. One thing I do for storage of all my tools that I need on the job site is all these guys are on wheels. Behind them are all my tools that I use on job sites. So anything that I need, I can grab pretty easily and get it out to the van to take with me. The normal tools that live in the van are another story. I'll do a tour of that of another day. My miter saw here, that little catch over there actually is lined up with the tabletop. So for breaking down some of the longer things, I can stretch it across to break it down and then use my number of stops here to set it up. These are MLCS flip stops. I have numerous of them because when I am doing cabinet jobs, I like to be able to set them and not move them until I'm done with that process. So having 6 of them up there allows me to do that pretty easily. All my chargers kind of live in the corner here. Not too happy with this situation, but it's working for right now. So from left to right on the top is a Craftsman plate joiner or biscuit joiner, 4x24 Triton sander, a 7-inch Triton belt sander. I have a carbide sharpener and a 7-inch cutoff saw, metal cutoff saw. Also have all my routers up on that top shelf there's shelf, and a bunch of cordless Ryobi, Makita, and Flex tools. Dust collection in the shop, mainly through the Laguna. Got green light to know when it's on, because when I'm wearing my hearing protection, I can't tell. So I added that green light back there when the plug is switched on. Also have one of the remotes right here next to my router table, so it's pretty handy right here. The current situation is that I have one tube and I just move it from tool to tool. Used to have a blast gate set up in here, but this place is too small to even bother with it, so I did away with it. All my tools have the adapters that go right into the right into that clamp, right into the vacuum, and that's a Rockler quick connect, or Rockler Dust Rate quick connect system. Try to get a link for you guys. So I am in a detached single car garage that is pretty much 12 by 24. Interior dimensions are kind of 11 foot 6-ish by about 22. Leaves a little bit of space for the garage door. Eventually I would like to actually remove the garage door. It's bolted shut so it doesn't move, and I just use the man door to get in and out all the time. So one of the things I did to the shop recently, which I'm very happy with, and one of the reasons I'm doing a tour now, is that the shop is fully alarmed. I have a Simply Safe alarm system wired, or not wired, but I have the automatic locking for the door, sensors, motion sensors, window sensor, door sensor, everything's armed up so that this way I know all my tools are secure in here. Even have security cameras inside and outside the building. Probably should say that. So 2 big features for air in here are my air conditioner, nothing crazy, just a standard air conditioner, and I have a large whole house exhaust fan in the back wall. During about 3 to 4 months out of the year, I use each item. So, you know, in the spring and the fall, I can get away with just running the fan. In the summer, like we're right now, I do run the air conditioner all the time to keep the shop temperature controlled. And most of the time, that means also running the big air cleaner above my head. This is an older JDS model. I don't believe they make it anymore. It's actually, the controller switch is broken, so I just have it wired to a switch to turn it on and off. And there's a K&N air filter on the front, which works very well. I actually have 2 of them, so I just switch them when they get dirty and rinse them and clean them and put them back in. Saves a little bit of money. They run, I think, about 40 bucks on Amazon. So my organizational system in here tends to kind of come from my old work trailer, where I had about 100 of these shoe boxes lining one wall of the trailer. They worked really well in there because we were able to carry basically a small hardware store with us wherever we went. However, no longer have the work trailer, just have remnants, which is this. Eventually, I'd like to organize this a little better where they all have individual slops similar to this layout in here, where I can get to each one without having to lift another one. Getting there, that'll probably take a couple sheets of plywood just to do that build, so when prices come down, I'll get on top of that. But this has worked very well for me for probably going on 10 years using these. They kind of are the perfect size for overflow items like hinges, biscuits, just all sorts of things, you know, extra parts that you have from tools, and they take up very little room. This one wall has dozens of these boxes on it, and I don't even want to think about where I'd be putting those otherwise. Top here is kind of my overflow tool storage. I don't really use anything up here all that often outside of my broke pecker square and a couple jigs that I have slid in and slid there and stuff like that. I got my Starrett square for layout and a bunch of flex boxes from tools, but just kind of a lot of stuff that I don't use on a regular basis, extra shelf glides and stuff like that. This has kind of been my paint area for the past few years, and I used to spray in the shop, but I've since changed that system, and now this is kind of just a storage area for paints and mixing and stuff like that, with kind of my hardware store below. All these drawers house all my various screws and hardware for built-ins and just general house stuff, and just paint supplies, everything. Eventually I'd like to redo these because, as you see, a lot of dust gets in them, which makes it hard to keep clean. So I've since gone to my new system, which let's talk about a little bit. So let's talk about this. I bought all these containers with my own money, all the Craftsman carts. They ranged from about 200 to 300 for the littler ones, depending on how many drawers they had. And this guy was, I think, around 450, somewhere in there. The reason I bought them instead of building my own carts was, by the time I bought the plywood at a high price right now due to COVID and spent a lot of time building them, it way would have exceeded the amount of money to buy these. They are not the best carts out on the market. I'm sure there's a lot better ones, but these work great for my purpose, and I'm very happy with them. All of them have the soft close drawer slides. They're all rated for about 50 pounds, I believe, which a drawer like my hammers is probably exceeding, but it still pretty much functions. So all in all, I think they're well worth it, and I would definitely buy another one. In fact, I am looking for maybe one or two more. So I wanted to say thank you for following along. Hope you made it through. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Leave some comments below. Feel free. Find me on Instagram at sal.the.carpenter. And feel free to DM me any questions there too. But you can follow along with some of my builds there. And hopefully I'll post some more videos as things come up. Have a great one.